At the end of 2016, it was reported by Statistics Canada that Canadian household debt hit a record high, and the ratio of debt to disposable income has increased. And as many Canadians take advantage of low interest rates, we all know it can't stay this way forever, with many feeling the pinch already. Well, today we are joined by President and CEO of Faith Life Financial, Karen Bjerland, who is going to help us to go through 5 financial principles we can live by in 2017. Welcome, Karen.
Hi, great to be here.
Yeah.
We're delighted that you're here and
thank you.
to share what is so important for people.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. You know,
do you have a pen so I can take notes?
I think the important thing is to do at least something. So there may be 5 steps, but to start on the journey is a really important thing.
Well, that's so important, because when I talk to people, they just say, oh, I can't, forget it.
Yeah.
So start with something. Exactly.
And the first step is so obvious, you'd think that we wouldn't even have to talk about it. And that is to spend less than you earn. In today's fast-paced society, it's so easy to just lose track. So take the time, write it down, figure out what your income is, figure out what your budget is, use paper and pencil, use an app, there's a lot of free ones, and make sure that you're just monitoring and knowing what you have available and what you're actually spending. It can make all the difference.
And sometimes, Karen, it's easier to say that than actually do. I'm being honest, because
sure.
You're in a store and you see something cute and you're like, well, I could put it on the credit card, right? And then that continues. And so I think all of us know we have to do a budget, but how do we actively do that when we're in the store and we're seeing all this beautiful, shiny stuff all around us?
Great question.
For me, it's the motorcycle shop.
Well, there you go.
Plan ahead. So before you go in the store, know what you have to spend.
Well, you also have a tip about taking something, just saying, I'm going to eliminate something. What's that all about?
You'll find out where you're spending, whether it's in the store or the motorcycle shop, by looking at 2016 expenses that are probably a bit more than you might have anticipated they should have been. So look at that expense and make the decision in 27 to not spend money on that particular thing or activity or whatever it is. Just don't do that.
So let's say I'm overwhelmed with debt. How do I start moving forward? How do I dig my way out? Really
important question. The first step is to take stock, to know where you are. And most people find that they can do that with the help of a financial counselor. It's a big job.
Debt is really an enemy, isn't it?
Absolutely it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely, especially when it comes a runaway problem in a low interest rate environment that we have today. Yeah.
And so you say start eliminating, as you said, credit card debt.
Absolutely.
And so that's paying that off on a regular basis.
Right.
What does that look like?
It really depends on what your plan is. And that is the key again, have a plan. This is money, managing money is not something that you do on a whim or an idea. It's a plan. It's considering what you have, what it is that you want to accomplish with what you have, prayerfully considering what your options are, getting wise counsel, good advice, and then setting the plan and then monitoring that plan and checking in on a regular basis to make sure that you're following through.
What about the extreme thing where people say, just going to cut up the credit cards because we're a cashless society? How do you advise people in that situation?
That's a really great question. And frankly, for people who are sort of building the money control muscle, don't use a credit card. Use cash or use a debit card, something that you can control.
So cash still works?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I know one individual, and what she actually did at the beginning of her money management development was to take her credit card and put it in a block of in water, in a freezer bag, put it in the freezer and freeze it. So when she really needed it, it was still available.
Wow.
But it wasn't easily accessible to her, and it really helped her to build that money muscle, which is so important.
When we were starting out, we used to put all our money in envelopes.
Yeah. That's how I
Do you still do that?
Yeah. Lots of people will do that, particularly in the very beginning process of understanding how to manage money.
I just think of the freedom too. Before we started the new year, my husband and I, we made an effort and we paid off our credit card. We only have one, we paid it off. And it felt freeing going into 2017, knowing we didn't have that thing on our back that we had to continue to pay off. So even if it's just freedom and feeling free about, that's also, a great incentive as well.
Absolutely. Get rid of that credit card debt.
And then you talk about protect against setbacks. And that's huge because emergencies come up and then all of a sudden we're wondering, oh, what am I going to do? I don't have enough money.
Yeah. A lot of people don't have the 6 months of savings that they really should have set aside in the
Who
case.
came up with the 6 months? Because I've heard that for a long time, and when I was younger, it was really overwhelming, and some days it's still an overwhelming amount of money.
The advice is, I really don't know who came up with it. It's in all the financial
I just wanted to blame
planning.
someone.
Yeah, well, I wish we could. But the reality is that some tragedies take a whole lot more time to deal with and to remedy than others. So 6 months can go by in a real hurry if you lose your job, if breadwinner in a family dies, if you experience a disability or illness.
And probably younger families feel somewhat invincible because they still have their health, at least most of them
Absolutely.
do.
And we just don't know when that's going to change.
And you experienced that with your grandson falling ill, and that's when you saw that, yeah, protecting yourself against these setbacks is key. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. Well, Nicky was 3 and he developed brain cancer. And the financial consequence to the family was huge. Thank God he's very healthy right now. But the consequence was so incredibly difficult because it took over a year for our family to cope once he went through the full recovery, and then the cancer returned. So that's a perfect situation where 6 months really isn't an awful
And the
long
emotional
period.
drain affects your ability to earn money.
Absolutely, it does. There's not a chance that when a family is dealing with that kind of crisis that people are working full-time. They're not. So they need to have those savings to fall back on. So we really encourage people to look at all of the setbacks that could occur and review your insurance. Take the time to do that. It really does make a difference.
You're a financial planner. You lead a large organization. Tell us about the planning part. How do you do the plan?
Some people can do it on their own. A few can. Most people can't. Because, as you said before, it feels overwhelming at the very beginning. And truly, it's just a process. It's a process of itemizing what you have, what it is that you want to do, what your goals are. And in the case of Faith Life Financial, what we also include in that, what your giving goals are. So that once you've got enough for you and your family, 100% of what you have can go to others. And it's a wonderful way to celebrate God's graciousness to each and every one of us.
And one of the things you point out is having a short and long-term plan. What is the difference and how does that look?
Yep, very good question. The short-term plan is making sure we've got 6 months of savings.
Yeah.
Making sure that we've got a plan to get rid of our credit card debt in particular and manage our other debt, that we're saving for those major expenses that are going to come up on a regular basis. So instead of using a credit card, use cash that you've got in the bank. Long-term planning is for retirement, making sure that you've got money set aside for your kids to go to whatever school you'd like them to go to, that sort of thing.
I think the plan helps so much to avoid those, for us who are spontaneous. So like when I want to upgrade my motorcycle,
Yeah.
it's not part of the plan.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah, there you go.
And I love this, that Faith Life Financial views money as a tool, not a goal. Talk about that, because I think that's key.
Yeah.
Because I think we always think, okay, there's a goal, I want to save up this amount of money, and we're always hoarding, but using it as a tool, as you said, to give back.
When you view money as a goal, it's all about getting it and keeping it, and who then becomes the master, right? But when you view money as a tool, it's about earning it, accumulating it to serve God, to serve family, to serve others, and to really celebrate and reflect God's graciousness to each and every one of us, because we're so richly blessed.
It's an awful thing when money owns you.
It's a tragedy.
Yeah.
It's a tragedy.
And reminding us as well that we are, to, as you said, to be good stewards of our money, and how do we do that? And so even choosing what charities that we can give back to, and looking at the scope of all of the different opportunities that we have to give back.
Absolutely. We consider that to be an integral part of a financial plan, a giving back plan, or a generosity plan, whatever it is that you would like to describe it for yourself and for your family. And what a wonderful legacy you leave for your family. When you choose a charity that's near and dear to your heart, and you demonstrate to your children, to your grandchildren, what it is that you can do with your time, talent, and your treasure to make a difference, no amount is too small. No gift is
Those
too
become incredible gifts. Having worked with many charities, I've seen when that gift has come in, it's just kind of filled the sails so they could move on and do what they are called to do.
And generosity is contagious. When you are around people who are generous, they too become generous. And that's how I believe God helps us to build vibrant communities of people.
Because didn't Jesus say it's better to
thing to
give
than to receive. Absolutely.
And so if people want to find out more about Faith Life Financial, they can go where?
faithlifefinancial.ca. We
Okay.
have a Faith Life financial fitness quiz. Try it out and see what you think.
Okay. Thank you so much, Karen.
A pleasure to be here. Thank you.